You are exposed. No air, no pressure, but you are still conscious. You try to breathe. Nothing enters. Your body begins to fail while you're still aware of it. Space looks empty, silent, still, endless. But signals repeat. Stars collapse. Planets burn. Some things out there should not exist. This is space horrors, the universe that should not exist. Movies teach us the wrong thing. A human body does not explode. It does not freeze solid in one instant. It does not vanish the moment the air is gone. The truth is slower, and that makes it worse. Space does not kill by drama. It kills by removing what the body was built around: pressure, oxygen, a stable internal environment. On Earth, those things are invisible because they are always there. At sea level, atmosphere presses against every surface of the body, not like a crushing wall, more like a constant balance. Inside the lungs, inside the blood, inside the tissue, the body expects that balance. It breathes because pressure allows air to move. It circulates because gases stay dissolved. It survives because water behaves like water. Remove the outside pressure, and the body does not have to be attacked from outside. It begins to fail from within. The first danger is not cold, not radiation, not darkness. The first danger is the loss of the invisible ocean pressing against you. And once that ocean disappears, the next thing to fail is breathing itself. Breathing feels simple on Earth. The chest expands. Air moves in. Oxygen crosses into the blood. But that only works because the air has pressure. In a vacuum, there is no surrounding atmosphere to push back. No pressure outside the body. No air waiting to enter the lungs. The body still tries to breathe. The muscles still move. The reflex is still there. But the system has lost the environment it was designed for. The lungs are no longer a doorway for fresh air. They become a place where gases can escape. Oxygen that should move into the bloodstream begins moving the wrong way. The blood leaving the lungs carries less of what the brain needs. Every second matters. Not because the body has stopped, because it has not stopped yet. The heart is still moving blood. The brain is still using oxygen. The nerves are still sending signals. The person is still present, but the supply line has been cut. There is no roar outside. Sound needs air. There is no wind in open space. No cinematic blast. Just a sudden absence, a missing pressure, a missing breath. And while the body searches for oxygen, pressure loss begins changing the behavior of the fluids inside it. Water behaves differently when pressure changes. On Earth, liquid water stays stable around the body because the atmosphere helps hold it there. Lower the pressure enough, and water can begin changing state at temperatures the body normally survives. This does not mean the body explodes. It does not mean sealed blood instantly boils like water in a pot. The skin is strong. The body is not an open container, but exposed moisture can vaporize. Fluids near surfaces can react. Gas can form where pressure has fallen too low. The condition is called ebulism. It is not a fire. It is not heat. It is pressure physics. Tissue can swell because vapor is forming where liquid should stay liquid. Circulation can become harder and harder. The body becomes a system fighting its own changing chemistry. And the disturbing part is how normal it looks from the outside. The suit is no longer just protection. It is the missing atmosphere. Without it, every surface becomes part of the failure. Moisture, tissue, air spaces, blood gases. But even this is not the fastest collapse. The fastest collapse is happening in the organ that cannot wait. The brain. The brain is expensive to keep alive. It uses oxygen constantly. It has no patience for interruption. When vacuum exposure removes useful breathing, the brain does not fail instantly. It begins spending what is already in the blood. For a short window, awareness can remain. The body is still receiving signals. The eyes can still see. The hands may still move. The mind may still understand that something is wrong. That is the most unsettling part. Not instant darkness, a delay. As oxygen falls, the brain begins narrowing its priorities. Clear thought weakens. Coordination drops. The edge of awareness closes in. Then consciousness fails. Not because space has struck the body, because the brain no longer receives the oxygen it needs to stay awake. After that, the heart may still try to work. Cells may still continue for a short time. The body may still be biologically active, but the person is no longer conscious. This is why the timeline matters. A human can be exposed and still have seconds of perception. Seconds are not safety. They are the last margin before the system shuts down. And while that countdown is happening, another myth begins to fall apart. The myth of instant freezing. Space is cold, but it does not freeze a body the way movies suggest. Cold on Earth usually reaches you through matter. Air, water, ground, something touching you and carrying heat away. Vacuum has almost none of that. There is no air to pull heat from the skin, no wind to strip warmth away, no atmosphere to conduct the cold into the body. Heat still leaves, but mostly by radiation, and that is slower than a cinematic instant. Moisture on exposed surfaces can cool quickly. Some surfaces can frost. Objects in shadow can lose heat. Objects in sunlight can heat intensely. Space is not simply cold. It is thermally uneven. One side can face the sun. The other can face darkness. A spacecraft can bake and freeze depending on angle, material, and time. But for an unprotected human body, temperature is not the first countdown. Pressure leaves first. Useful breathing fails first. Oxygen to the brain fails first. The horror is not that space freezes life instantly. The horror is that it does not need to. It can make the body fail while warmth is still inside it. And that is why the most important object in space is not a helmet. It is not a visor. It is the entire pressure system around the human body. A spacesuit is not clothing. It is a spacecraft shaped around a body. It carries pressure. It carries oxygen. It manages heat. It removes carbon dioxide. It protects against micrometeoroids, radiation exposure, and extreme temperature swings. The helmet is not there just to cover the face. The gloves are not there just to cover the hands. Every seal is part of a controlled atmosphere. The suit gives the lungs something to breathe against. It gives body fluids enough pressure to remain stable. It gives the blood a chance to keep oxygen moving. Outside the suit, space is not attacking. It is simply missing everything the body requires. The suit replaces what Earth provides for free. That is why a small leak matters. Why a seal matters. Why a glove bearing matters. Why a pressure reading matters. Spaceflight turns invisible things into life support systems. A hatch is not just a door. It is a border between biology and vacuum. A suit is not just equipment. It is a temporary planet. For a few hours, it carries the conditions that human cells evolved under. But when that controlled atmosphere fails, the body returns to the same countdown. Vacuum exposure is not only an astronaut outside the ship problem, it can happen anywhere pressure is lost. A spacecraft cabin is also a protected atmosphere. A module is also a pressure vessel. A hatch, valve, window, and seal are all part of survival. When a cabin loses pressure, the danger spreads through the entire volume. The air thins. Oxygen delivery falls. The body begins the same biological sequence. First, pressure changes. Then, breathing becomes completely ineffective. Then, oxygen to the brain drops. Then, consciousness becomes the clock. This is why spacecraft design treats pressure as sacred. Warnings are not decoration. Checklists are not ceremony. Suits are not backup costumes. They are barriers against an environment that does not negotiate. In space history, pressure loss has been one of the most unforgiving failures. Not because it looks violent, because it can become fatal before there is time to understand it. The danger is quiet. A valve opens, a seal fails, a cabin changes, and biology starts losing the terms of survival. Human beings evolved under sky, under weight, under air, under pressure. Space removes the sky and leaves the body trying to run Earth chemistry in a place where Earth no longer exists. That is why the truth is more disturbing than the myth. Space does not kill instantly. It waits just long enough for the body to realize Earth is gone. Some planets exist without a star. No sunrise, no orbit, no source of heat or direction. Only a world drifting endlessly through interstellar darkness. The universe does not need monsters. It has gravity, radiation, pressure, vacuum, and somewhere beyond what we can see, the next anomaly is already moving. This is space horrors, the universe that should not exist.